There was a double whammy that occurred here at this point in time, and I know you have the ratings for this program. We're going to peruse those in a minute, but following this interminable march through misery was another Owen Hart tournament match, the female division, with Britt Baker taking on her own Joker. And this blew up Twitter. And the majority of people that were on Twitter talking about this were asking me what I was thinking about it, or saying they couldn't wait to hear me talk about it. The world is no longer safe for democracy. The plague has landed again. We didn't close off our borders to the real pestilence, to the real menace. Britt Baker, whether she's champion or not, she's the top female star in AEW, had to wrestle the Owen Hart tournament match against the returning Maki Itoh.
Maki Itoh.
Queen. Yeah, that's why I said Maki Itoh. The queen of shit and piss. Self-proclaimed, by the way, I might add, folks. For the new listeners who are going, what the fuck is he saying? She tweeted a picture of herself last year anointing herself the queen of piss and shit. I think what it is, and she's got a potty mouth in English. Apparently, a lot of the perverts that populate that world of these child pro wrestlers in Japan, that they change from either schoolgirls or singing idols to wrestlers and dress them up in these costumes and parade them out in the parody promotions like that Twinkle Toes works with, DDT. I think that somehow there's they have the body secretion fetishes over there too. And when they can combine them, so here's this innocent little young girl, very undersized, very young looking in the face, dressed up like a schoolgirl. She used to be a pop idol. Now she gets in the ring and wrestles outlaw matches with this comedy promotion. And I've also seen at least one or two pictures of her smeared in chocolate, which was one of them that accompanied the Queen of Shit designation that she gave herself. So is she doing... I would have thought she would have moved to Germany to do the Scheisse videos or whatever, but they're strange is what I'm saying. So she's back now. This is the contribution of Twinkle Toes McFingerbang, everybody's favorite wrestling artist, Kenny Olivier, to the upstart nationally televised opponent of Vince McMahon, is to bring a joke at the expense of flying a joke from Japan. An untasteful joke that makes fun of their own business. Brian, why are they making fun of their own business? And here's the thing. With old Maki Itoh, the argument can't even be made that, Cornette just hates all Japanese girl wrestlers. Well, Oscar's good. And Hikaru Shida's good, and this other one's good, and that nobody thinks that Maki Itoh is a good girl wrestler or even a wrestler, period. It's a joke. She's not trying to be real. She couldn't be if she wanted to be, but fortunately she's not trying. This is all satire. It's comedy. And so my question is, why do you, in an Owen Hart tournament, trying to bring attention to his charitable foundation, or the one that Martha started in his name, with your top female star on your roster, on your own television program? Why are you trying to make your own talent look bad, your own tournament look bad? Why are you trying to make your own business look bad? Why are you trying to make mockery of your own line of work to the fans who are watching your program? And you want them to think, well, we think this is all a big hoot. What It's a joke that wasn't funny to begin with. And once you've seen it once, her bad singing and her dancing and pointing or whatever, not only does this match bury Britt Baker, it buries the television program, it buries the Owen Hart tournament, it makes the entire company look like shit. It killed the TV ratings. The match went through a break. The fans in the building were like, what the fuck? So why would you do this just to humor Kenny Olivier in the bizarre interests he has that nobody else shares and never is going to in this country? Why would you do this, Brian?
I would assume Tony Khan likes this. That this is something Tony Khan approves of.
Tony Khan, the one thing about Tony Khan, we know he's a mark. He's been watching wrestling since he was a kid. He booked in his basement. He watched tapes and VHSs. When would Tony Khan have ever seen anything? There was never anything like this. It wasn't allowed. So when would he have ever seen anything like this to say, well, this is good wrestling. This would help my program.
Well, Tony Khan did watch a lot of tapes, and he likes all sorts of wrestling, whether it's old school or modern wrestling or hardcore wrestling or even satirical wrestling.
He don't have the balls to tell Twinkle Toes, you fucked up my show enough. You're fucking up my video game. You've made a joke out of my women's division, and you need to get your ass back to fucking the Budokan, where people appreciate whatever the fuck it is you do, because I got real stars now. That's what he needs to say to him, but he won't because he has no guts.
Well, he also doesn't want another guy burying him to everyone he talks to. Seems like it's happening a lot lately with guys
who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? If you own the company and you got $1 billion, who gives a shit if people bury you? For fuck's sake. Bring 100 of them with shovels. See what I care if I got $1 billion. He needs to stand up for his shit and for the employees that he's got that are actually talented and trying. So anyway, now that we've got to that point in the show, Brian, read us the ratings up to that period of time between the Jericho Appreciators and Maki Itoh.
Maki Itoh? I'm not sure where this is.
I don't care what sheet. She doesn't look like
why Maki Itoh? It makes no sense. Why Maki Itoh?
Because I'm thinking that she'd done better as one of the Jacksons.
Well, Maki Itoh, that was...
Okay, Maki Germain.
Maki Itoh.
Maki Marley.
Okay, god damn it. That was the second to last segment.
Maki Randy.
All right, well, Rebby, let's get the
Maki
ratings
Rebby.
Overall.
Good. What was her
See, now you got me doing this shit.
What was her only top 40 hit? Rebby Jackson.
Oh, no, I don't know. No one cares about Rebby Jackson.
Centipede.
How do you know that?
Because I have the picture sleeve on the 45.
Why do you have that 45?
Because I got every 45 that had a picture sleeve, because I love those things.
All right, well, we found Rebby Jackson's fan. Overall, Dynamite did 922,000. Now let's go to the quarterly breakdowns. These are from Brandon Thurston on Twitter, @BrandonThurston. The show opened 984,000 viewers for Samoa Joe versus Johnny Elite.
Yep.
Dropped down to 959,000 viewers for the Young Bucks Hardy Boys confrontation and Adam Page versus Takashita.
Okay.
The next segment, segment 3, 985,000 viewers.
Back up
for the final 3 minutes of the Page match and the confrontation with Punk, as well as Keith Lee and Swerve versus the Workhorsemen, and their confrontation with the Jungle Friends and Starks and Hobbs.
The Jungle Friends.
Then, segment 4, the last segment of the first hour, stay steady, 983 off 985. That's for the Statlander Red Velvet confrontation and the MJF promo and the whipping of Wardlow.
Yeah.
After that segment, it's all downhill from here. And we didn't even see this, the Trent Beretta Rocky Romero promo and Kyle O'Reilly versus Ray Phoenix.
I think I had to fart during that Trent promo.
We went from 983 to 917. The next segment, which was the Jericho Appreciation Society disaster segment, followed by, actually, that was the whole thing. It was so long,
that
break.
Was over 15 minutes. That was a segment.
We went from, let me go back, 9:83 to 9:17. Now we're at 8:76.
Ooh.
And then the next segment, which is Britt Baker versus Maki Itoh, and we'll talk about the second part of the segment, back up off Jericho, back up to 900.
I thought that she would have run more people off than that. So you're mean to tell me that more people wanted to see Maki Itoh than wanted to see Chris Jericho.
But again, I'm going to do this now, even though you want to wait till the end, because I think it tells the story.
But what happened after they saw Maki Itoh?
The last segment of the show. So again, let's go back to the beginning. 984, 959, 985, 983. Relatively consistent for the first hour. The second hour, 917, 876 for the Jericho Endless segment, 900 for Britt versus Maki Itoh, and the final segment with the Serena Deeb promo that we'll talk about, and the Adam Cole versus Jeff Hardy match, 777,000.
Ouch! That's what, they lost 125,000 people over 15 minutes.
And even, if we're talking about the key demo, which everyone talks about for the advertisers, the last four segments, 440, 420, 423, 378. So the major drop off at the end. And I know there's other things on TV, but if you have a good wrestling show, wrestling fans watch it.
Well, besides that, also, if you're an hour and 45 minutes into a 2-hour program, and unless you've seen something that you just said, fuck it, I can't take any more of this, aren't you going to wait out the last 15 minutes? Especially when it's supposed to be the main event, including one of the biggest stars in the history of wrestling over the past 20 years competing.
Well, again, you talk about the way fans could be trained to think certain things. If you've been watching AEW for the last 6 months, wouldn't you think the last 45 minutes of the show are going to be a waste? That they're going to get everything until the MJF segment. Usually it's everything up until the MJF segment, and then it falls apart. But seriously, I am not surprised the last 45 minutes of the show was terrible. The Jericho segment, the Serena Deeb promo, the Hardy match, the Maki Itoh match.
Well,
you can't book any of that and think people are going to want to see any of that.